Hi, my name's Claire Bickle and welcome to today's Green Thumbs Up episode. Today we're at the Brookfield Garden Centre and we're going to be talking about indoor plants. Indoor plants have been on trend for quite a while and their popularity is increasing day by day. Now there are lots of great reasons to incorporate plants inside your house, and one of them obviously is that they look great. Having indoor plants, they make a fantastic interior design aspect, but there are also some really great health benefits as well. It can reduce anxiety levels, blood pressure, and have a really calming effect on us. And is really great to remove any of those volatile organic compounds that may be in your house. And these can be produced from laminates, paint, carpets, printers and so forth. So we're going to talk about some of my favourite indoor plants to start with, and I call them my favourites because they're the tough ones that put up with a bit of tough love. The mother-in-law's tongue, which you can get in a dwarf and a tall, is great for indoors and doesn't need a lot of water. The very popular peace lily with its white spathe flower also makes a great addition to your indoor plant collection. And probably one of the most bulletproof plants that we have is this wonderful Zanzibar gem. This plant takes really low light situations and can go for weeks, if not months, without watering. Other fantastic choices are the ficus, philodendrons, dieffenbachias and syngoniums. There are so many to choose from. One of people's favourite plants though is the Maidenhair Fern. Now this is probably the most murdered indoor plant that we have, and there's a reason for that. Maidenhair ferns like moisture, but they don't want to sit in water, so remember to take away the saucer after watering. And I always recommend having a spray bottle nearby to keep the humidity levels up around them. Popping your maidenhair in your bathroom is a great location because of that humidity. If you have by chance let your maidenhair dry out and it's gone crispy, just prune it off right at base level and give it an application of liquid seaweed. You'd be surprised how often they do come back, even from a disastrous non-watering episode. We're now going to pot up my lovely little collection of indoor plants into this bowl. I've already filled this 2/3 full with some premium potting mix. So let's start. I'll start off with the peace lily. This is going to give a little bit of height to this pot. As the weather warms up, this will also get some lovely white flowers. Next is a beautiful aglaonema. I like having different types of foliage colours and textures. It really adds to the appeal of, especially when you're doing a combination planting. Next, I'm going to go for an ivy. This will spill beautifully over the front of the pot. I'll place it in the front here, spinning it around so that it can hang over. I'm going to put a bit more potting mix in here, and then I'm going to pop in this selaginella. It's a bit like a moss and looks a lot like, almost like coral, I reckon. This will also spill over the edge of the pot. I'm now going to backfill in and around all of these plants and push in the potting mix down to get rid of any air pockets. Once the potting is all complete and that's all firmly planted in place, I'm going to water this in with a little bit of liquid seaweed, maybe even a bit of fish emulsion, just to get it off to a good start and reduce once again any of that transplant shock from having been disturbing the roots. If you're keen, you can even add mulch to the top of your pot. And by mulch I mean decorative mulches, so using things like different types of coloured pebbles. It can be in keeping with whatever your decor is. So this one is ready to go. It just needs a bit of a water and a tidy up. And there we have our indoor plant bowl ready to go on your dining room table, kitchen bench, wherever you'd like some greenery. When you're choosing your indoor plants, the next step is maybe your pot selection. What matches your decor? Keep in mind though that a lot of pots that we buy these days don't have holes. If you do buy a pot without a hole, we call this a cover pot, and you're best off sitting the plant in it, and when it comes to watering, removing it, watering the plant, letting it drain, then place it back in. If your plant does have a hole, all the better. And these pots these days have a removable one. So you can by all means take your plant to the sink, to the bathroom, or even outdoors. And this is what catches people up a little bit too. To truly and thoroughly water your indoor plants, you want the water to actually be draining thoroughly out the hole. Then you know that you have wet the entire root ball. Depending on the season, you may need to water more often, coming into the warm weather, and less maybe in winter. Another interesting fact is that more indoor plants are actually killed from overwatering than any other aspect of people's indoor plant experience. So keep that in mind. Don't mollycoddle your plants. If they're still moist, leave them for another day or two. When it comes to potting mix, choose quality Australian standard premium potting mix. This will make a big difference to your indoor plant experience. Buying cheap nasty potting mix is exactly that. It's cheap and it's nasty. Quite often doesn't have good water holding capacity. Good premium potting mixes have things in them like re-wetting agents and water crystals, and this will reduce the amount of watering that you will need to do. Next is fertilizing. This can be done by applying a slow release fertilizer, and good potting mixes will already have some in there. After a few months you will need to replace that though, and you can also do your own liquid fertilizing every 4 to 6 weeks or so. This will keep your plants healthy and lush. If you want to, you can even mulch the top of your pots, and this will also help conserve water. The other top tip, besides your pot choice, your plant choice and watering, is light. There is no such thing as a true indoor plant, just plants that tolerate being indoors. In low light situations, a lot of plants will struggle. They won't be able to photosynthesize. So have a plan in place where you can maybe swap your plants in and out from those dark spots. Also make sure you don't keep your indoor plants near air conditioners, heaters and things like that. This will dry out their foliage and even cause damage to your plants. Our top water-wise tip today is presented by Seqwater, and it's all about hosing. And it can be your potted plants on your verandas or in your garden. And it's all about getting those trigger gun hose nozzles. This way, when you're not using the hose, you can actually have the trigger off, which means there's no watering going on when you don't need it. But don't forget, when you've finished watering, turn it off at the tap, as the water pressure can be strong enough to actually take the nozzle off the end of the hose. And you can imagine if that happens, obviously thousands of litres of water can pour out onto your lawn or into the garden, wherever it may be, and cost you money. And it's wasting water. So trigger nozzles, don't forget to turn the tap off when you're finished. Thanks for joining us today for our Green Thumbs Up episode. Hope to see you soon.